Hello, my name is Travis Bean, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. I am calling to you from this cave I currently live in. Everybody wants me in dark mode. I turned down the light a little bit. Is this more what you want? Is this what I'm in the dark and all this, literally in the dark and all this, because people always yell at me when I take a screenshot of my phone and I don't have it in dark mode. Dark mode is not something I've ever used. So putting myself in dark mode is strange. So let me know if this is enough light. I imagine you would have went less light than this, and you couldn't, or maybe you don't want to see me. Anyway, we got Kanye West news here, and this was something I was pretty interested in because I am a film buff myself. It's actually how Chris and I started talking about Kanye in the first place because we were looking at his albums and thought like, oh, he's doing things that we see in Citizen Kane. It's just like his techniques for telling a story and giving it life, and just how the production was kind of infused with the lyrics. Like we saw all of it playing. So movies have always been at the core of like what we do in the show. So of course I get excited about anything movie related involving Kanye. And I was really excited to see this documentary because it's really going through his whole life, telling the whole, in case you don't know, I'm sure you do, but the movie's called Jeen-Yuhs. It's going to be on Netflix. It just premiered at Sundance, and it's going to be released in 3 parts on Netflix, with part 1 coming, God, is it this week? Maybe next week? I should know that. Anyway, it's coming very soon. It's all going to be released in February, I believe. But suddenly there was drama with the movie coming out. The movie was directed by Cootie and Shaik. I don't have what are their full name? Just as longtime friends, Cootie and Shaik. Sorry, I don't know their last names off the top of my head. But Kanye posts this to Instagram. Can I zoom in on this? Oh gosh, that's a big zoom in. I'm going to say this for the last time. I must get final edit and approval on this doc before it releases on Netflix. Open the edit room immediately so I can be in charge of my own image. Thank you in advance. Now, obviously, this is a huge crossroads, especially if you're a Kanye fan, because if you're a Kanye fan, like this is part of why you love Kanye, right? He demands control of his image. He is in complete control of his image. He is this empowering figure. He's a superhero when it comes to that. That's why he's inspiring, at least to me. Somebody who constantly doubts themselves and questions themselves and their plight. And if anyone notices you or cares, like Kanye throws that all out the window. And sorry about that. And just is like, no, like I'm a superstar. Like I'm in control. So obviously if there's a documentary being made about you, you want to have control. And he kind of storms in through Instagram, which is kind of strange when you just call one of them up. But I guess he's stirring up marketing and just interest in general around the doc, which maybe that was part of his intent. But I think at the same time, he also wants to make it clear that like, hey, if a documentary is coming out about me, like you're going to see what I want you to see, which again, could be enraging to some people, especially the people who made the documentary. But it's part of why you like Kanye. He really stirs things up, and nothing's ever easy and straightforward with him. But at the same time, as somebody who's a film buff, and I often sympathize with directors and visions and plights of the director, this movie wouldn't be the same if Kanye controlled it. I can see some sort of collaboration happening where you talk to Kanye and like you come to some sort of agreement about like where the documentary's going, but ultimately like you got to let the artist control the art, which is the other weird part of Kanye. Like you would think he'd understand that as an artist. So that's what's clashing there, the artistry versus like not the ego, but the self-image, how people see you, your brand. So that was kind of up in the air. And then we saw Cootie hanging out with Kanye in the studio. And it even says here in this article, they talked on February 1st. I don't know if it says it in this article. It could be one of the articles I read. But yeah, they were just hanging out together. And he said Kanye didn't mention the documentary at all. So it's kind of like, okay, what is happening here? Like Kanye's calling it out, but then like he doesn't seem to care too much because this documentary is getting ready to play on Netflix. I don't think Kanye can do anything about it. I'm sure he signed contracts years ago that when Cootie and Chuck say, hey, can we film you? They can use whatever they want and tell the story however they want. Especially, and it seems like well, it not seems like the documentary is done. It played at Sundance, and it's ready to go off of Netflix. Like they're not just going to stop it. So what happens here? I guess what's going to happen here is, especially since Cootie and Kanye were in the same room and didn't even discuss it, that the movie is just coming out, and Kanye will not have final say. He will not be in the editing room. We got this quote here. He talked to Rolling Stone, which, by the way, I look at this Rolling Stone headline. I'm not somebody who frequents pop culture news. I always have to if I do Kanye news, I guess, and I see this. I did not know Rolling Stone had it up for Kanye so much. Like every headline like shrugs off Ye. Like there's some like slight little diss or a major diss to Ye, which is odd, but I guess not surprising given today's political, social climate, especially in relation to the news. But anyway, we got a quote from Cootie here. Me and Chike have a company called Creative Control because you don't want to lose your creative control. And then he said, God has the final cut, which I think is the right response to Kanye, actually. And then I really like this part. If Kanye wasn't as polarizing of a character as he was, he wouldn't have an interesting doc. This just comes with the territory. This is Kanye's personality. So you just embrace it, and then it's going to take us wherever it takes us. This is the person that we're dealing with. We all know who we're dealing with. I mean, of course, like what kind of rollout would this be? What kind of any sort of artistic rollout involving Kanye, what would it be without this kind of disruption? It's just the nature of Kanye. It's why it's beautiful to be part of this album rollout process where it just drags on and changes and morphs. It's great. It's fun. But doesn't sound like it'll be quite the case of the documentary because it's coming out as is and on time. Doesn't sound like Kanye can do anything about it. And yeah, that's what all the headlines seem to say anyway. I guess we'll see. Is Kanye's power that massive? I guess he could buy Netflix and then just be like, nope, you can't show that movie. And then that would do it. Although they'd probably just go somewhere else. But then Kanye could just buy that place. It'd be a loop. We'd go on and on, but eventually we're going to see this documentary, right? Like Kanye can only hold it back for so long. Okay, so that's the news, I guess, that the documentary is coming, and don't worry, it's coming. There's nothing to worry about. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment. We'll interact with you and like your comments if we like them. If you praise us, if you give us praise and just talk about how awesome we are, we'll give you a little like. How about that? And yeah. Thanks for watching, but until the next video, which could be soon, I got to look through some more Kanye news. Stay wavy and please keep it loopy.